Back when I used to always feel tired, I used to wake up at around 6 or 7 o'clock to get up for work, and I used to drive to work and go straight into the office and just pour myself a cup of coffee. I would have about 3 or 4 cups of coffee with 2 spoonfuls in each cup just to get me through the morning. And then by about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I would have this huge crash where I would not be able to concentrate on my work. I just wanted to go home, I just wanted to go to bed, and I did not feel like I could perform and do any work. I was just so tired. And this is kind of like how most people are right now, most young guys especially. They're just always really tired and always feeling like they can't really do anything in the day. They're in this perpetual state of just being exhausted. And why is that? We're young men, we should be full of energy. Like in the tribal times, would have been out hunting, would have been working through the whole day to try and catch some prey so that we could cook it and bring it back for the meal at the end of the day. But something's happened. There's something that we're doing in the day that's just causing us to be really tired and just causing our brain to not be able to concentrate, especially into the afternoon. So here's kind of the first way that you can quickly improve your energy levels throughout the day, and it's actually due to the amount of caffeine that you consume. The very thing that you think is making you less tired and more alert could be the thing that is causing you to be so tired. The first thing you need to understand is that as soon as you wake up, for 90 minutes, caffeine will not affect the way you feel in terms of your energy levels. Now, why is this? This is because in the first 90 minutes of the day, your brain is basically running on something called the adenosine system. Adenosine is this hormone or chemical that basically regulates how tired you are and how much you want to go to sleep. And when you first wake up, in the first 90 minutes, you have a very low amount of adenosine and you are sort of, awake and, ready to go. And the adenosine will slowly and gradually build throughout the whole day, and eventually towards the end of the day, you will have very high levels of adenosine. This will cause you to want to fall asleep. Now, caffeine, what it does, it essentially blocks the adenosine. It's an adenosine antagonist, I believe it's called. So where adenosine would usually go, caffeine goes instead and stops adenosine acting on those cells, i.e. stopping you being tired. But for the first 90 minutes of waking up, caffeine can't actually interact with the adenosine system. So if you have caffeine too early in the morning, i.e. 90 minutes after waking, like what I used to do when I would just wake up, drive straight to work, and within half an hour of being awake or 45 minutes of being awake, I would have 2, 3, 4 cups of coffee. And those cups of coffee, maybe the last 2 or the last 1 would actually be the ones that would affect the adenosine system. The rest of those coffees were just caffeine going into my system and decreasing my sensitivity to caffeine. This means that over weeks and months of doing this, I would become less and less sensitive to the effects of caffeine because I was using it so much, even at a time when it wasn't actually impacting the way I feel. So when you wake up, just aim to have water or maybe some electrolytes like salt, something like that. Don't try and have caffeine as soon as you wake up. Wait at least an hour and a half before you have your first caffeine drink, because that is actually when caffeine is going to affect your body. The second reason, and this is a huge one for me that I've found, is the reason I have these huge afternoon crashes at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon was because I was eating a lot of carbs at lunchtime. So carbs have been scientifically proven to actually increase the amount of melatonin in the system. And melatonin is this chemical hormone that basically makes us feel sleepy. This is why people who are on the carnivore diet or the keto diet, where they have very low amount of carbs, sometimes struggle to get to sleep. But when we have a lot of carbs around lunchtime, you've probably experienced this where you have a big bag of rice or something, or a bunch of potatoes or chips, you'll have a huge crash in the afternoon. So the second thing we need to do is avoid eating too many carbs around the middle of the day. Try and focus on just having protein. This is going to minimize the amount of melatonin that you produce in the middle of the day. Try and save your carb intake for the end of the day, because it's actually going to help you go to sleep. And the third reason that you always feel tired is because when you wake up in the morning, you are not getting enough sunlight. Getting sunlight in the morning is a great way to set what is called your circadian rhythm. Now, if you don't know what your circadian rhythm is, this is kind of the internal clock of your body, right? We all wear watches, we all have clocks, we all have access to see what the time is, But our actual internal body, like our cells, don't really know what time it is. They have to rely on this thing called the circadian rhythm. How is this circadian rhythm set? The cells in the back of your eyes, in the retina, there are some cells, special cells that are responsible for detecting sunlight, and that is the only way that they can set the clock for the day. As soon as you see sunlight and as soon as you are outside and getting the actual photons from the sun, the high lux kind of environment, that is what's going to basically activate these cells in the back of your eyes and start the circadian clock. This is when your body knows it is daytime and it will start counting down from there. Remember the adenosine system that we talked about? Well, as soon as you see sunlight, as soon as those cells get activated, that is when the adenosine system starts, and that is when it starts building up adenosine from that point, so that it knows roughly in like 10 to 12 hours, that is when it's going to reach a peak amount where you wanting to go to sleep. So in order to get ourselves tired at the right time, i.e. at the end of the day and not in the middle of the day, we need to try and view morning sunlight. This is going to set us up for one, the best night's sleep possible, because we're going to be tired when we actually want to go to bed, and two, it means that if we see it on a morning, it's going to set the circadian rhythm so that it's in the right sort of time frame for us to be tired at that time rather than tired in the middle of the day. And one of the reasons that we get tired in the middle of the day is because we've set our circadian rhythm far too early on in the sort of day. And the way we do this is we are looking at bright lights, bright LED screens later on in the day. Now, as the day progresses, your cells in the back of your eye will become more and more and more sensitive to light. This is why when it's sometimes late at night and you're looking at a monitor screen or your phone screen, the screen kind of seems super bright. You can almost be squinting and you have to reduce the brightness on your phone because it's too bright. This is because your eyes become more and more sensitive to light as the day progresses. So towards the end of the day, if we're staying up till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, we're going to start to basically set our circadian rhythm for the next day at the night time by looking at these bright screens. And this means that our body technically thinks we should be going to sleep at around 2 or 3 the next day. When you go outside, even if it's cloudy, even if it looks kind of dark outside, there will be a much higher lux outside than inside your house. So you need to actually get outside in the morning. And I do it for a walk, but you could just step outside for 10 or 20 minutes and just physically look out into the sky. That is going to basically activate these cells in the back of your eyes, set your circadian rhythm, and it's going to, one, prepare you for a great sleep, and you should avoid having those afternoon crashes if you do that for a few days in a row, because you will set the circadian rhythm right again. It's so weird because thinking about this my entire life, pretty much, for all of my teenage years and through a lot of my early adult life as well, when I've been trying to set up businesses and be on self-improvement and make money online and make this YouTube channel and go to the gym and perform, and I'm doing all these different things to try and better myself. I was doing it all with my circadian rhythm basically set around the night time, because I would stay up till 11 o'clock at night watching YouTube videos with the screen on full brightness on my laptop and wondering why I was struggling to get to sleep, and wondering why, when I was at work in the, lunchtime at work just after eating big carb meal, I'd always bring these like rice packets into work. I was always wondering, why am I so tired? Why is it when I finish work, I can't get myself to go to the gym? Why is it that I can't force myself to work on my business? I'm just so tired and exhausted. And the whole time, it was just because I was missing out on these 3 kind of key things. I was drinking caffeine way too early in the day and drinking way too much caffeine, so I was super sensitive to caffeine. And I was basically my circadian rhythm was backwards because I was looking at bright lights throughout the day. I wasn't going for morning walks, and I was eating way too many carbs too early in the day. And it was just causing me to basically have these huge afternoon crashes. So I hope you found these tips valuable. If you are finding yourself having that huge kind of afternoon slump where you can't really be bothered to do anything, just try and apply these 3 tips and try and sort these 3 things out. And hopefully it should really help you to not have that afternoon crash and to feel way better throughout the day. Right, remember, just improve yourself by 1% every day and you will get there. See ya.